beautiful 20-year-old mom vanishes. Her Nissan Sentra found in the parking lot of a ski resort.
Dittmeyer's family says she does have friends in the area, but police aren't saying who she was coming to visit.
Let's see a shot of the missing persons flyer, Liz. Krista Dittmeyer, age 20, gone. Left behind are 14-month-old baby girl strapped in a car seat, parked at a remote ski area. The parking lot empty. No surveillance video that we know of. We are taking your calls, but to Lieutenant Chris Purley, special guest joining us from Conway Police Department. Lieutenant, I understand a second car has been seized. In addition to her black Nissan, a second car has been seized by police. What kind of car and where?
The car was seized in North Conway the evening of the 23rd. I can't discuss the parameters or description of the vehicle. I want to correct something, Nancy. It's a black Nissan Sentra, not a white Nissan.
Did someone say white?
I
just said black. No.
Oh, yeah, it is black.
It is black. We're showing black, and you may not be able to see our monitor, but we are actually showing a black Nissan Sentra as you're speaking. Go ahead.
Yes. So I can't discuss the particularities about the vehicle that was seized. We did execute a search warrant both on the Dittmeyer vehicle and the second vehicle. And again, we follow the evidence where it takes us. We collect and gather evidence both to include suspects and activities and also to exclude.
That's good to know. About the vehicle that was seized, I assume that search warrant and return, if any, is going to be filed as they normally are. So even with something that's going to be filed, can you tell us what kind of car it was and why it was seized?
No, we, as a preliminary matter, filed a motion to seal all affidavits and documents associated with this ongoing investigation.
Back to Francine in North Carolina. What was the second part of your question, dear?
Okay, Nancy, I would like to say I really get disgusted with the way people commit these crimes and, you know, just go about ordinary life. But is the baby okay, and why was she out that time of the morning?
Well, you know, Francine, I'm not so sure that she was voluntarily out at that time of the morning. Joe Gomez, KTRH, when was she due at work? For all I know, she had the breakfast shift. When was she due at work?
That's still unclear, Nancy. We do know that she worked as a waitress. You know, this is a woman who was working very hard to support her baby girl, a 14-month-old baby girl that was found today.
Thank you. But the question is, when was she due at work? Do you know?
It's still unclear, Nancy.
So the answer would be no. Okay, let me ask Lieutenant Purley. Lieutenant, when was she due at work?
Again, I can't discuss that kind of matter because it's an intimate detail of the investigation. I do want to point out, Nancy, because I know you're running out of time, the Dittmeyer family has offered a reward of $3,000 for any information that leads to the whereabouts and location of Krista. That information came out after we held a press conference here, and I think it's very important the public knows
that is important.
There is
What's
money
the
on
tip
the table
line
to help resolve this matter.
Lieutenant, tip line. Is it 603-356-5715?
That is correct. We also have an additional toll-free line. It's 888-GIVE-A-TIP, which turns out to be, 888-448-2847. Either line will ring to us. We're manning phones. We've added additional people to take down information, feed it to the investigators. And
in the few remaining moments I have, back to the lawyers, Ann Brimner, Ron Liebden, Gloria Allred. Ann Brimner, your thoughts about this? Obviously, her pocketbook, cell phone, etc., was in the car. He said her personal items were seized from the car.
You know, it says abduction, and ski areas by definition are remote, Nancy, as we know. And the fact of the matter is somebody had a conscience by putting the flashers on so someone would find the baby. But I want to also say your lieutenant is wonderful in terms of what they're doing in this investigation. And with another car involved in this, hopefully they'll be able to find her alive, and at least the baby's alive.
Ron Liebman, what do you make of the fact that she called the mom, her mother, at 10:30 that night? She was on the phone. Everything was fine.
Well, I think at that point everything probably was fine. It sounds to me like this was a rendezvous. This woman lives in Portland, Maine. The car is discovered in New Hampshire in a parking lot. There's another car involved. And I think the police are on this. And once they start getting answers to those questions, who was she meeting, why was she meeting, what was in the car, once those questions are answered, I think some of this mystery will be unraveled.
To Dr. Patricia Saunders, clinical psychologist, put her up. I don't see her. I know she's there. She's somewhere in satellite land. Dr. Saunders, are you with me?
I am.
Dr. Saunders, no offense to any of the men on our panel tonight, but why is it when a woman goes missing, they all say, it was a rendezvous? She was meeting somebody. Come on! She's got a baby in the car seat at 6:30 in the morning. There's not a rendezvous going down at 6:30 in the morning with your baby in the back seat. That's not the way this went down, Patricia.
No, I don't think it was the way it went down either. I think that she got some kind of emergency threatening call. She took the baby, perhaps because it was someone she knew.
But, Pat, what about her getting abducted right there in her driveway? Or we also know, here's another tidbit, we have been told that she was in the Conway area earlier that day. I assume what they mean by that is the day before. Did somebody see her there and follow her home?
Yes, in that case, it might have been a stranger abduction and not someone she knew. But there was no way she was going to leave that child. No. I think that the hazard lights may not have been on to warn people that there was a baby there, but just to alert the other car that they had arrived. Another option.
To Steve Cardian, former cop, self-defense expert, lead instructor at Defend University. What's your theory, Steve?
It appears by all manners and intents that this was a stranger abduction. We see the maternal instinct.
Steve. Usually this is something far more close to home.
Yes.
Somebody you know, somebody you're related to. We think the baby's daddy is out of the picture. He's not a suspect at this time and was not in the area. That's where you normally start. It's not him.
No, and law enforcement's going to treat it like a crime, like a kidnapping, because it's easier to go from a kidnapping to a missing person case than it is to go from a missing person case to a kidnapping. So they're going to investigate it as it... Go ahead.
To Sheba in Illinois. Hi, Sheba. What's your question, dear?
Hi, Nancy. She wasn't a member of this club, was she? And could she have had a significant other that she was meeting there?
At 6:30 in the morning, Sheba, wait. Think it through. Who's having a rendezvous at 6:30 in the morning with the baby in the back seat?
Well, not me, honey.
Yeah, me either. I'd have to have two in the back seat. Plus my husband following behind in the minivan, so that's not going to happen. Okay, let me get to the bottom of that question about member of the club. To Lieutenant Pearlie, Conway Police Department, why would anybody be skiing at that time of the day? They wouldn't be, number one.
Nobody would be because the ski mountain had closed for the season.
No snow.
And the fitness center was not open. Whether or not she was a member of the club still does not explain her disappearance and also doesn't explain why she would be there before it was open.
You know,
but we don't have any information. We don't have any information that she's a member of that club.
Question about the club. Was it one of those clubs that have its particular hours, or did it stay open 24/7 and you use a key card to get in and out?
No, that's a great question. This is a large facility that has a number of tennis courts and fitness equipment. It is open on specific hours and owned by the mountain and manned by a staff. So you can't just go in there and work out like some...
Lieutenant, what about the temperature of the car? Inside the car, the door was open. Had it gotten cold in there? Is there anything to suggest the car had been there for a long time?
The vehicle was running, so fortunately for the child, the interior of the vehicle was comfortable enough for the infant.
We are taking your calls to Cheryl in Minnesota. Hi, Cheryl.
Hi, Nancy. I have a quick question and a possible theory. First off, the car that they seized, was there any body damage on that vehicle? Because when I'm observing the picture of her vehicle, I noticed body damage on the
Okay, let's find out very quickly. Lieutenant Pearlie, is there damage to the car?
Again, you know, and I hate to keep saying it, but we couldn't comment on a specific piece of evidence like that.
Yeah, I see it too. I couldn't hear whether Lieutenant Pearlie said yes or no. Did he say yes or no, Liz? No damage to the car? But I see that it is crunched up in the front. What's your theory, Cheryl?
Who abducted this beautiful mother? Police need your help.
Can't imagine what the explanation is, but we certainly hope there is one, and we want her home.